Daddy, can my sister come visit us? Stephen Carter's 5-year-old son had just come home from kindergarten, happy and completely unaware that the words he'd just spoken were impossible. Because Stephen only had one child. What began as a simple question soon unraveled a decades-old secret buried deep in the past, and a woman who appeared to be his dead wife, standing at the school gate. Find out in today's nerve-chilling story, and also let us know where you're listening from. Stephen Carter stood in the doorway of their new apartment, watching his 5-year-old son, Danny, zigzag between moving boxes. The sun streamed through the empty windows, casting long shadows on the walls that would soon hold memories, laughter, and ghosts of the past. Dad, look how big my room is, Danny's voice echoed. He held up a weathered photo of a woman smiling at the beach. Can I put Mommy's picture next to my bed? Stephen nodded, swallowing emotion. Oh, of course, buddy. When Grandma Molly arrived with her usual flair, carrying cookies in one hand and authority in the other, she got to work immediately. Anna should be the first person anyone sees when they walk in, she said, placing a large wedding photo of Anna, Danny's deceased mother, on the mantel. As they hung curtains and unpacked, Molly filled the silence with stories about Anna. Silly moments, wedding day mishaps, the kind of laughter that made you forget she was gone. Danny soaked up every word. She always found joy, even when she was sick, Stephen whispered, remembering the promise he made by Anna's bedside. The next morning, Danny packed his backpack, slipping Anna's photo into the front pocket. "Want Mommy to come with me," he said softly. At kindergarten, Ms. Irene greeted them warmly. She crouched to Danny's level. Oh, I've heard you're a great helper. Want to see our art corner? As Danny disappeared into the classroom, Stephen hesitated. He turned to see his son instinctively touch the photo through his bag. He was growing up, but still clinging to a mother he couldn't remember fully. Stephen promised himself no more goodbyes. That night, as Stephen tucked Danny into bed, his son spoke 5 words that shattered his world. Dad, I have a sister. Stephen froze. Oh, what do you mean, buddy? Her name is Katie. She looks exactly like me. Same eyes, same nose. Ms. Irene said it was unusual. Stephen tried to laugh it off, but Danny's serious face mirrored Anna's perfectly. Maybe Mommy sent her to me, he added. The next morning, Stephen arrived early at the school, scanning the classroom. And then he saw her. A girl with Danny's hair, his profile, his habit of tilting her head while concentrating. It was like looking at Danny in a dress. He stumbled, gripping the doorframe. Miss Irene approached quietly. Oh, we need to talk. In her office, Ms. Irene revealed something Stephen couldn't explain away. Katie and Danny have the same birthday. They finish each other's sentences. They knew each other instantly. It's uncanny. Stephen's breath caught. Is it possible Anna had a twin? He shook his head. And she was adopted. She never knew her biological family. She used to wonder, Ms. Irene said softly, if she had siblings out there. Stephen's heart raced. He needed to meet Katie's mother. Stephen stood at the school gate that afternoon, stomach churning, and then he saw her. The woman who came to pick up Katie was Anna. Same face, same hair, same way she tucked it behind her ear. His knees buckled. Danny rushed over. Oh, Dad, why are you on the ground? Katie tugged her mom's sleeve. Oh, and he looked scared. Mommy, he looks at you like you're someone else. Danny held up the beach photo. So you look like my mommy. The woman's hands trembled as she took the photo, her fingers brushing over the faded edges like they were sacred. Her eyes flicked rapidly between the image and Danny, then back again, as if searching for answers in the familiar lines of a face she had never seen, and yet somehow had known all her life. Her lips parted slightly, but no words came, only a sharp intake of breath. A wave of recognition, or confusion, washed over her features, and for a moment she stood frozen, as if time itself had stopped. Inside the teacher's office, the woman introduced herself. Natalie Reynolds. I'm Stephen Carter, he said numbly. They stared at each other, and at the children, identical cousins playing like twins. I never knew I had a sister, Natalie whispered. Anna never knew her family either, Stephen replied. When they were born on the same day, Ms. Irene added. October 12th, Natalie's hand shook. Oh, I need to talk to my mother. Her voice was barely above a whisper, but the tremor in her tone betrayed a flood of emotions building just beneath the surface. I have to know the truth. Her breath caught as she added, almost to herself, all this time. I never imagined. Natalie led them to her childhood home. Her mother, Eleanor, served tea with shaking hands. Stephen placed the photo on the table. Do you know this woman? Eleanor stared. That's Anna. She finally confessed the truth. I was young. The twins' father was married, powerful. He made me choose, keep one child, give up the other. I chose Natalie because she was stronger. Said just gave her away? Stephen's voice cracked. And tried to find her later, Eleanor whispered, her eyes brimming with regret. But it was too late. I searched through old records, reached out to people I hadn't spoken to in decades, but everything led to a dead end. The adoption agency had closed down, the files were sealed, and I was left with nothing but guilt. Every year on their birthday, I thought of the other little girl, of Anna, and wondered where she was, if she was happy, if she was loved. But I was a coward. I waited too long. Eleanor brought down a dusty box, hospital bracelets, newborn photos, tiny blankets. Everyone fell silent. Katie and Danny looked on, wide-eyed, holding hands. And now I'll never know her, Natalie whispered, tears falling. Danny looked up. But you can know me. I remember Mommy. I can tell you about her. The room stilled. Katie hugged her mom. Don't cry. Now we can be a family, right? Natalie looked at Stephen. Can we? In the weeks that followed, Danny and Katie became inseparable. Natalie and Stephen found themselves laughing more, crying less. They shared Anna's quirks, her phrases, her habits. Natalie would say, sometimes I feel like I remember her, like pieces of her live in me. Stephen nodded. She would have loved you. Even Eleanor began to show up more, slowly earning forgiveness. Maria watched it all with quiet joy. Oh, and they did it, she whispered. And they rebuilt something out of heartbreak. At a backyard barbecue, Natalie handed Stephen a glass of lemonade. One should take a photo. Katie and Danny holding a family tree. So they always remember how this happened, Natalie said, her voice soft but filled with purpose. She glanced over at the children playing in the yard, their laughter echoing like music in the warm summer air. It should be something they keep forever, a reminder that sometimes families are born not just from blood, but from miracles and second chances. Stephen nodded. And we should do this every year, same day. Celebrate the people who made this family possible. His voice was steady, but there was a gentle crack at the end of his words, the kind that comes only when the heart is full. Tears welled up in Natalie's eyes, but this time, they were happy. She reached for his hand and gave it a quiet squeeze, anchoring the moment as something sacred. Around them, life moved on, but inside this bubble of peace and healing, everything felt whole for the first time. That night, when the kids had fallen asleep, Stephen and Natalie stepped into the garden, wrapped in the hush of a world at rest. Above them, stars shimmered with quiet brilliance, the sky clear and infinite, as if inviting whispered conversations with those long gone. Do you think she knows? Natalie asked, her voice no louder than the rustle of leaves, that her son is happy? Stephen smiled, a soft, knowing curve of his lips. I think she knew all along, he said, his eyes scanning the constellations as though looking for a sign. A shooting star streaked across the sky. They watched in silence, caught in the fragile beauty of the moment. And somewhere, maybe, Anna smiled too, watching the family she had dreamed of finally come together, finding each other across years, across silence, across impossible odds. What do you think of today's nerve-chilling tale? Please share your thoughts in the comments below.